Registered Master Plumbing Engineers of the Philippines Review. Quiz number 6, 2025. Number 1. These lines are thin and dark and are constructed with units of one long dash, followed by two short dashes. These lines indicate the scope of movement of a part, as like showing the path a door will follow when opened. A. Object lines. B. Phantom lines. C. Leader lines. D. Extension lines. Based on the description, the correct answer is B. Phantom lines. Explanation. Phantom lines are thin, dark lines made of a long dash followed by two short dashes. They are commonly used to show the alternate positions of a moving part, such as the swing of a door, the path of motion of a part, adjacent positions of related parts. The other options do not fit. A. Object lines, thick solid lines showing visible edges. C. Leader lines, thin lines with arrows used to point to features for notes or dimensions. D. Extension lines, thin lines used to indicate the extent of a dimension. Number 2. These are thin, solid lines that provide a stopping point for the pointed ends of dimension lines. A. Object line. B. Extension line. C. Leader line. D. Phantom line. Based on the description, the correct answer is B. Extension line. Explanation. Extension lines are thin, solid lines that extend from the object outline to show the limits of a dimension. They do not touch the object, a small gap is left, and act as a stopping point for the pointed ends, arrowheads, of the dimension lines. The other options do not fit. A. Object line, thick solid line for visible edges. C. Leader line, thin line with arrow pointing to a feature for a note. D. Phantom line, long dash followed by two short dashes for alternate positions or motion. Number 3. These are dark and thick lines that indicate an object such as a wall. These are the lines you will see when used to indicate the foundation and walls in the building as drawn in the plan. A. Object line. B. Outline. C. Building line. D. Boundary line. Based on the description, the correct answer is A. Object line. Explanation. Object lines, also called visible lines, are thick, dark lines that represent the visible edges or outlines of an object. In architectural or engineering drawings, they are used to show elements like walls, foundations, and other visible boundaries in a plan. The other options, while related, are not the standard drafting term for thick dark lines representing visible parts. B. Outline, a general term, but in drafting it's not the specific line type name. Object line is the correct technical term. C. Building line, usually refers to a legal setback line or the outer perimeter of a building in a site plan. D. Boundary line, used in site plans to indicate property limits, not necessarily thick object lines. Number 4. These pipes are shown as a series of units consisting of a long dash and two short dashes. A. Drain pipe. B. Hot water pipe. C. Cold water pipe. D. Vent pipe. The correct option is B. Hot water pipe. Explanation. On plumbing drawings, a hot water pipe is represented by a series of units consisting of a long dash followed by two short dashes. Why other options are incorrect. A. Drain pipe is often represented by a series of short dashes on plumbing drawings. C. Cold water pipe is commonly represented by a solid line. D. Vent pipe is represented on drawings with alternating long and short dashes, phantom lines. Number 5. What pipe is indicated in the plumbing plan with a solid line? A. Vacuum pipe. B. Fire protection pipe. C. Hot water recirculating pipe. D. Drain pipe. The correct answer is D. Drain pipe. White heavy checkmark explanation. In standard plumbing plan symbols, solid lines are commonly used to represent drain, waste, and vent, DWV, piping when they are visible or above ground, particularly drain pipes. However, note that conventions can vary slightly by region or design office, but according to widely accepted architectural and plumbing drafting standards, such as ANSI, IPC, and typical architectural practices. Drain pipes, part of the soil and waste system, are often shown with solid lines, especially when they are within the floor or visible in plan view. Vent pipes, as noted in the previous question, use the long short dash pattern, phantom line. Water supply pipes, hot, cold, recirculating, are also often shown as solid lines but are usually labeled, example, HW, CW, HWR, to distinguish them. So why is drain pipe the best answer here? Because among the options, drain pipes are routinely depicted as solid lines in plumbing plans, especially in floor plans showing underground or slab-level drains. The other options are either less common or use different conventions. OA vacuum pipe, rare in standard plumbing, not typical in residential commercial plans. OB fire protection pipe, usually shown as solid lines, but often labeled specifically, e.g., FP or SPR4 sprinkler. However, in many standards, fire protection is indicated with dashed or special lines, or red color, not default solid. OC hot water recirculating pipe, a type of water supply line, shown as solid only if labeled, not the primary use of an unlabeled solid line. But the most universally accepted convention is solid line equals drain or waste pipe in plumbing plans, especially when contrasted with dashed phantom lines for vents or supply lines. Additionally, in many building codes and drafting textbooks, drain pipes are the default solid line piping in plumbing riser diagrams and plans. White heavy checkmark. Final answer, D. Drain pipe. Number 6. On what point of the pipe cross-section is the pipe's elevation always referred to? A. Center of pipe. B. Invert. C. Bottom of pipe. D. Top of pipe. The correct answer is B. Invert. White heavy checkmark. Explanation. In plumbing, drainage, and civil engineering drawings, the elevation of a pipe, especially for drain, waste, and storm sewer systems, is always referenced to the invert. The invert is the lowest internal point of the pipe cross-section, essentially, the inside bottom of the pipe. This is critical for gravity flow systems, like sanitary sewers, where proper slope grade ensures drainage by gravity. Triangular ruler invert elevation equals elevation of the inside bottom of the pipe. This allows engineers and contractors to accurately calculate pipe slopes, cover depth, and connections between pipes. Why not the others? A. Center of pipe, used in some structural or mechanical contexts, but not for drainage elevation. C. Bottom of pipe, ambiguous, could mean outside bottom, but invert specifically means inside bottom, which is what matters for flow. D. Top of pipe, sometimes used for cover requirements, example, 2-foot cover over top of pipe, but not for hydraulic design or standard pipe elevation notation. White heavy checkmark. Final answer, B. Invert. Number 7. These pipes are represented in plumbing plans with a moderate dash, 3 short dashes, and a moderate dash. A. Vacuum pipe. B. Compressed air pipe. C. Hot water recirculating pipe. D. Fire protection pipe. The correct answer is C. Hot water recirculating pipe. Splash symbol. Plumbing line symbols. In plumbing drafting standards, specialized piping systems like recirculation lines, compressed air, and vacuum lines are represented using distinct line patterns. Times hot water recirculating pipe, HWR. This is typically represented by a line pattern consisting of a moderate dash, followed by 3 short dashes, or dots, and then another moderate dash, dash. This distinguishes it from the standard hot water supply line, which is often a dash and 2 dots. Times compressed air pipe, usually represented by a series of long dashes and 1 extra long dash, or a long dash and 2 medium dashes. Times vacuum pipe, often uses a line with a dash and a single short dash, or dot, repeated. Times fire protection pipe, fire sprinkler line commonly represented by a line with a long dash and 1 short dash, or dot, repeated, often with the initials FP nearby. Number 8. What symbol that commonly appear on a domestic water riser diagram are not necessary to show on a sanitary riser? A. Elevation marking. B. Numbering of fixtures. C. Direction arrow. D. Center line. The correct answer is C. Direction arrow. Explanation. Times in domestic water riser diagrams, flow direction arrows are important because water supply systems are pressurized and flow can go up and down in the pipes. Arrows indicate the intended direction of water flow to fixtures. Times in sanitary riser diagrams, drain waste vent systems, flow is almost always downward by gravity, so direction arrows are unnecessary and typically omitted. Elevations, fixture numbering, and center lines remain important in both. Therefore, direction arrows are commonly shown on water riser diagrams but not necessary on sanitary risers. Number 9. Usually this is the thickest line in the drawing that is made up of uniform dashes and ends with arrowheads. A. Extension lines. B. Leader lines. C. Cutting plane lines. D. Object lines. The line described as the thickest line in the drawing that is made up of uniform dashes and ends with arrowheads is the cutting plane line. Explanation. Times extension lines are thin, solid lines. Times leader lines are thin, solid lines ending in arrowheads or dots. Times cutting plane lines are thick, dashed lines, sometimes alternating long and short dashes, but uniform patterns are also used, ending with arrowheads to indicate where a section view is taken. Times object lines are thick, solid lines, not dashed. Answer: C. Cutting plane lines white heavy checkmark. Number 10. It is a letter number designation assigned to each type of fixture. A. Fixture ID. B. Fixture schedule. C. Item number letter. D. Fixture label. The correct answer is D. Fixture label. A fixture schedule typically uses a letter number designation to categorize and identify each specific type of fixture. This system helps in organizing all the necessary information about each fixture, such as its location, model number, finish, and required electrical data, in a clear and standardized format on construction documents. Number 11. According to the International Plumbing Code, above what temperature can you consider as hot water? A. 60 degrees Celsius. B. 120 degrees Fahrenheit. C. Above room temperature. D. 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The correct answer is A. That the proper amount of solvent cement was used in making the joint. Explanation. When joining PVC or ABS pipe with solvent cement, a key visual indicator of a properly made joint is a continuous, uniform bead of solvent cement around the pipe at the fitting's edge. This bead confirms that enough cement was applied. The cement was distributed evenly as the pipe was inserted. A complete seal has likely been achieved. Why the others are incorrect? B. That there is an excessive use of solvent cement, while possible. The instruction for many solvent weld joints specifically advises that a continuous bead should appear around the joint as proof of proper application and coverage. A small, uniform bead is the goal, not necessarily excessive. C. An improper jointing was made. The presence of the bead is generally a sign of a properly made joint. D. That the pipe and fitting need to be twisted or turned around to have complete coverage. The bead indicates the joint has already been made and the cement has been distributed. Further twisting at this point would be incorrect and could weaken the joint. Number 12. Center lines are always used to indicate the center of the object. At most you will find these as lines sewed to show the center of a circular object. What is this line made of? A. Successive short dashes. B. Alternating long and two short dashes. C. Alternating long and short dashes. D. Successive long dashes. The correct answer is C. Alternating long and short dashes. White heavy checkmark. Explanation. In technical and architectural drafting, center lines are used to indicate the center of circular features, like holes, pipes, columns, or symmetrical objects. According to standard drafting conventions, ANSI, ISO, and common CAD practices, Center lines are drawn as thin lines composed of an alternating pattern of long and short dashes. The pattern typically starts and ends with a long dash, and the short dashes are about 1/3 to 1/2 the length of the long dashes. Example pattern. This makes them easily distinguishable from hidden lines, uniform short dashes, phantom lines, long-short, cutting plain lines, thick, long dashes with arrows. Why not the others? A. Successive short dashes. This describes hidden lines, not center lines. B. Alternating long and two short dashes. This is the pattern for phantom lines, used for alternate positions or motion. D. Successive long dashes, not a standard drafting line type. Cutting plain lines are long dashes but thick and end in arrows. White heavy checkmark. Final answer. C. Alternating long and short dashes. Number 13. What pipe is indicated in the plumbing plan having a series of dashes with letter V separating the dashes? A. Vent pipe. B. Vinyl pipe. C. Vacuum pipe. D. Vacant pipe. The correct answer is C. Vacuum pipe. In plumbing drafting and design, lines are standardized to help contractors and engineers quickly identify the function of each pipe. A line consists of a series of dashes with the letter V. Example, VV is the universal symbol for a vacuum pipe. Number 14. What pipe is represented by a line consisting of a series of short dashes? A. Gas pipe. B. Vent pipe. C. Drain pipe. D. Vacuum pipe. The correct option is B. Vent pipe. Explanation. A vent pipe is represented by a line consisting of a series of short dashes in plumbing plans and diagrams. This drawing convention helps distinguish it from other types of pipes in a plumbing system. Why other options are incorrect? A. Gas pipe is typically represented by a line with a series of dashes with the letter G or gas separating the dashes, or a moderate dash, 3 short dashes, and another moderate dash in some conventions. C. Drain pipe is commonly indicated with a solid line in plumbing plans. D. Vacuum pipe is usually indicated in a plumbing plan with a series of dashes with the letter V or VAC separating the dashes. Number 15. Where is the best place to begin drawing a sanitary waste and vent riser diagram? A. From the fixture down to the main sanitary waste pipe. B. At the farthest point downstream on the main. C. At the end of every outlet. D. From the top of the vent stack down to the septic vault. The correct option is B. At the farthest point downstream on the main. Explanation. Drawing a sanitary waste and vent riser diagram usually follows the flow of the wastewater system, which begins from the lowest and farthest point in the system and works its way upwards and backwards against the flow of water. This approach ensures that all components, branches, and connections are correctly accounted for as the diagram builds from the main outgoing line to individual fixtures and up through the vent system. Why other options are incorrect? A. From the fixture down to the main sanitary waste pipe. While this method seems logical for following the water flow, standard practice for drafting a comprehensive system diagram often starts at the main outgoing point to ensure proper sizing and connection to the main sewer or septic system. C. At the end of every outlet. Starting at every individual outlet independently makes it difficult to coordinate and connect all branches into the main stacks and risers in a coherent and complete diagram. D. From the top of the vent stack down to the septic vault. This approach is the reverse of the actual system flow and the conventional drawing method. Vent stacks are extensions of the drainage system through the roof to allow air circulation, not the starting point for the overall system layout. Number 16. What drafting symbol can be used when a riser diagram becomes too long to fit on a single page? A. A double bar. B. A match line. C. A direction arrow. D. A footnote. The correct answer is B. A match line. White heavy checkmark. Explanation. When a riser diagram, such as a plumbing, electrical, or HVAC riser, is too tall to fit on one sheet, drafters use a match line to break the diagram across multiple pages or sections. A match line is a dashed line, often labeled with identifiers like A, B or 1, 2, that indicates where the drawing continues on another sheet or section. It ensures that the upper and lower parts of the riser align correctly when referencing across sheets. Match lines are commonly used in vertical diagrams like risers, building sections, or long elevations. This maintains clarity and continuity in construction documentation. Why not the others? A double bar, not a standard drafting symbol for continuing drawings. C. A direction arrow, shows flow or viewing direction, not continuation across pages. D. A footnote, provides supplementary notes, not a method to split a drawing. White heavy checkmark. Final answer, B. A match line. Number 17. What joint of pipe is being made if the pipe ends is being beveled? A. Compression joint. B. Solder joint. C. Welded joint. D. Sweat joint. The correct answer is B. Hidden lines. White heavy checkmark. Explanation. In architectural and technical drafting, hidden lines are used to represent edges or features that are not visible in the current view but are important for understanding the object, such as recessed elements, overhead soffits, cabinets set into walls, or pipes behind walls. These lines are drawn as short, evenly spaced dashes. While line weight can vary by standard, hidden lines are often medium to thick, not as thin as centerlines, to ensure visibility, especially when indicating recessed or obscured construction elements in plans. In floor plans, a recessed ceiling, bulkhead, or alcove that isn't visible from above but affects the space below is commonly shown with hidden lines. Thus, a recessed object, e.g., a soffit or niche, is indicated using hidden lines matching the description, short and thick dashes. Why not the others? A. Cutting plane lines. Thick, long dashes with arrows, show where a section cut is made, not for recessed features. C. Invisible lines. Not a standard drafting term, hidden lines is the correct technical name. D. Recessed lines. Not a recognized line type in drafting standards, example, ANSI, ISO, or architectural CAD manuals. White heavy checkmark. Final answer, B. Hidden lines. Number 18. At what angle do vent stacks attach to horizontal vent pipes? A. 22.5 degrees. B. 45 degrees. C. 90 degrees. D. 60 degrees. The correct answer is B. 45 degrees. White heavy checkmark. Explanation, based on Plumbing Code, IPC and UPC. According to the International Plumbing Code, IPC, and the Uniform Plumbing Code, UPC, vent stacks, vertical vent pipes, must connect to horizontal vent pipes at an angle not less than 45 degrees from the horizontal. This ensures proper venting and prevents trap seal loss due to pressure fluctuations. Wrench IPC Section 905.3 states, vent stacks shall connect to the drainage system at or above the highest horizontal branch, and shall rise vertically or at an angle not less than 45 degrees from the horizontal. Similarly, horizontal vent pipes connecting to a vertical vent stack must enter from the side at 45 degrees or steeper, i.e., closer to vertical, to avoid trapping debris, maintain airflow, prevent water from backing into the vent. Thus, the standard and code-compliant connection angle is 45 degrees, or greater up to 90 degrees, but 45 degrees is the minimum allowed, and the most common practical angle used. Why not the others? A. 22.5 degree too shallow, may allow waste or condensation to enter the vent, not allowed. C. 90 degrees. A vertical vent connecting straight into a horizontal vent is not typical. Also, a true 90 degrees, flat horizontal entry, would be flat, which is prohibited. A 90 degrees vertical rise is fine, but the connection angle to horizontal must be greater than or equal to 45 degrees. D. 60 degrees acceptable, since it's greater than 45 degrees, but not the standard or specified minimum. The code specifies 45 degrees as the threshold, making it the best answer. White heavy checkmark. Final answer, B. 45 degrees. Number 19. Thin solid lines with arrowheads on each ends that will indicate the measurement of the object. A. Direction line. B. Dimension line. C. Meridian line. D. Instructional line. The correct answer is B. Dimension line. White heavy checkmark explanation. In technical and architectural drafting, dimension lines are thin, solid lines that show the extent and direction of a measurement. They are typically terminated with arrowheads, or sometimes slashes or dots, at both ends, and they span between extension lines. A numerical value, example, 10 feet minus 0 inches, is placed above or near the dimension line to indicate the measured distance. This matches the description perfectly. Thin solid lines with arrowheads on each end that will indicate the measurement of the object. Why not the others? A direction line, not a standard drafting term, sometimes used informally for flow or orientation, but not for measurements. C. Meridian line refers to geographic north-south lines on site plans, not measurement lines. D. Instructional line, not a recognized drafting line type. White heavy checkmark. Final answer, B. Dimension line. Number 20. What pipe is represented on drawings with alternating long and short dashes? A. Cold water pipe. B. Vent pipe. C. Drain pipe. D. Hot water pipe. The correct answer is A. Cold water pipe. White heavy checkmark explanation. In specific architectural and plumbing drafting standards, commonly used in technical exams like the Master Plumber Board, water supply and drainage lines are distinguished by specific line patterns. Times cold water pipe, represented by alternating long and short dashes, also known as a dash dot pattern. O visual. Times hot water pipe, represented by a long dash followed by two short dashes, similar to a phantom line. O visual. Times vent pipe, represented by a series of successive short dashes of equal length. O visual. Times drain pipe, represented by a thick solid line, if above ground, or long dashes, if underground. O visual. Underscore 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 underscore. Why this might be confusing. While many modern CAD standards simply use solid lines labeled CW or HW, traditional drafting and standardized exam banks, such as the Master Plumber Elements Bank, rely on these specific dash patterns to identify the pipe's function without text. Graduation cap. Thanks for watching quiz number 6. How many did you get right? Drop your score in the comments below. White down pointing backhand index. Wrench. These questions cover essential drafting symbols, plumbing codes, and riser diagram fundamentals, key topics for every aspiring registered master plumber in the Philippines. White heavy checkmark. Don't forget to thumbs up sign, like this video, speech balloon, comment your answers or questions, bell, subscribe and hit the bell for more review quizzes and plumbing engineering tip. Blue heart. Follow us on social media for daily tips and updates. Books. Stay sharp. Stay ready. Your license is closer than you think. See you in the next quiz. Shower triangular ruler.